Have you ever lain in bed at night, wide awake? Not because of the noise outside, but because your thoughts won't stop spinning inside? You replay conversations from hours or even years ago. You imagine future situations in painful detail. You question every little thing you said, did, or didn't do. This is overthinking. And if you're here, chances are it's something you live with. In this video, we'll go deep into your brain, into your habits, into your past, and most importantly, into solutions. Because once you understand why your mind overthinks, you can start to take your power back. Overthinking is not deep thinking. It's not problem solving. It's the mental version of treading water, exhausting, repetitive, and stationary. You might believe you're analyzing, but your brain isn't finding answers. It's just looping the same fear, memory, or prediction over and over. Psychologists split overthinking into two major forms: rumination, dwelling on the past; worry, obsessing about the future. Both can feel rational, but both are traps. Rumination says, "Why did I mess that up?" Worry says, "What if I mess up tomorrow?" And your brain? It believes both. Your brain is not broken. In fact, it's doing exactly what it evolved to do: scan for threats. Thousands of years ago, overpreparing meant staying alive. If you heard a rustle in the bushes, your brain imagined the worst-case scenario, a predator. That overthinking? It could save your life. But in today's world, the threats are different. Not tigers, but social rejection. Not fire, but deadlines. Not exile, but judgment. And your brain still responds the same way. So you overthink a meeting, a message, a moment of silence. Your brain is trying to help, but it ends up hurting. Let's look inside your head. When you overthink, a few brain regions go into overdrive. The amygdala detects threat. The prefrontal cortex analyzes decisions. The default mode network activates during self-referential thought. These regions light up, even when there's no real danger. The amygdala says, something's wrong. The prefrontal cortex says, let's solve it. But if there's no clear solution, the brain just spins. Think of it like an engine revving with no gears to shift into. Heat rises. Energy burns. Nothing moves. Overthinking doesn't start randomly. Often, it's learned, shaped by experience. For example, if you grew up with critical parents, your brain learned to self-monitor constantly. If you had unpredictable relationships, you learned to stay alert to avoid emotional pain. Over time, your brain began to believe, if I think hard enough, I'll avoid being hurt again. This is self-protection, not weakness. But what protected you then is now keeping you stuck. One of the most deceptive reasons we overthink is this. It feels productive. You feel like you're working through it. But in reality, you're trying to control the uncontrollable. We think, if I analyze every angle, I won't be surprised. If I prepare for the worst, it won't hurt. But life doesn't work that way. Most of what we fear never happens. And most of what does happen, we survive anyway. The truth is, the mind craves certainty, and overthinking is how it pretends to have it. Overthinking takes a toll, not just emotionally, but physically. It increases stress hormones like cortisol, sleep disturbance, muscle tension, digestive issues. Mentally, it can lead to anxiety, depression, poor focus, low self-esteem, and perhaps worst of all, it robs you of the present moment. While your mind lives in the what if, life is happening in the right now. Overthinking is a habit, and like any habit, it can be rewired. Here are science-backed ways to break the loop. Brain-mind labeling: say, this is just a thought. Herb grounding: focus on 5 things you can see, hear, and touch. Notebook journaling: dump your thoughts to make space in your brain. Person in lotus position medium skin tone meditation: train the mind to watch, not react. Person running movement: walk. Exercise: change your body equals shift your state. Remember, you don't need to silence your thoughts. You only need to stop believing every one of them. Overthinking doesn't mean you're broken. It means you care. It means you've been trying to protect yourself. You are not weak for feeling too much. You're human in a chaotic world. But even your mind needs rest. You are allowed to let go, to live in this moment without analyzing it. Not everything needs to be understood. Some things are meant to be experienced. So breathe. Be gentle with yourself. And remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the calm behind them. The origins of overthinking: a survival mechanism gone rogue. Our minds, though built for the modern world, still carry the echoes of our ancestors' instincts. In ancient times, overthinking wasn't a flaw. It was protection. Constant scanning, anticipating danger, remembering past threats. These traits were crucial for survival in a wild, unpredictable environment. But today, the tigers we face are emails, deadlines, social pressure, and uncertainty about our future. The problem is why your brain hates uncertainty. Uncertainty is the fuel of overthinking. Our brains crave clarity and control. They want to predict, to prepare, and to protect. When something is unknown, like waiting for results, a new job opportunity, or even an unanswered text, the brain panics. It says, let's think this through again, and again, and again. But here's the trap. The more you try to mentally solve uncertainty, the more you spin. Overthinking often gives a false sense of control. It feels productive in the moment, like you're doing something, but in reality, you're just looping. What helps? Recognizing that uncertainty is not a threat, just a space where clarity hasn't arrived yet. Learning to sit in the unknown without racing to close the gap. Uncertainty is not the enemy. It's the birthplace of creativity, possibility, and freedom. But only if we don't drown in our thoughts trying to eliminate it. The illusion of control, why we ruminate. Control feels safe. Predictability feels secure. And so we ruminate. We replay conversations. We imagine scenarios. We script responses in our heads, not because it helps, but because it makes us feel less helpless. But here's the paradox. The more we try to control what we cannot, other people's reactions, the future, the past, the more anxious and exhausted we become. Rumination is the brain's attempt to rewrite a reality it didn't like. But reality doesn't change through thought alone. Clarity comes from action, and sometimes from stillness. To loosen this grip, practice asking, is this thought helpful or just familiar? Letting go of control doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start trusting in yourself, in time, in the unfolding of things you can't yet see. The overthinking self-doubt loop. Overthinking and self-doubt are partners in crime. One questions everything. The other whispers, you're probably wrong. This loop is toxic. It causes people to delay decisions, second-guess choices, and lose trust in their instincts. At its core, overthinking is not about thinking too much. It's about trusting too little. Too little trust in your decisions. Too little belief in your worth. Too little confidence in your ability to adapt. The key isn't to silence all thoughts. It's to build self-trust so that your thoughts don't override your reality. You won't get every choice right, but you'll survive. You'll learn. And next time, you'll grow. Freedom from overthinking begins with the radical act of believing, I'll figure it out, even if it's not perfect. The gentle art of mental minimalism. Letting go is not about forgetting. It's about choosing peace over pressure. The modern world pushes us to think more, plan more, analyze more, until our minds feel like cluttered desktops with too many tabs open. But peace often comes not by adding, but by subtracting. Fewer what-ifs, fewer comparisons, fewer imagined futures. Mental minimalism is the quiet, revolutionary choice to do less thinking and more being. Instead of obsessing over what's next, we begin to notice what's now. The sound of your breath, the warmth of your hands, the stillness between thoughts. Letting go doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we start trusting that we're okay, even without all the answers. And sometimes, the most powerful thought is the one we let pass by, unanswered. Overthinking doesn't mean you're weak. It means you care deeply. You want to get things right. You want to be safe. You want to be loved. But the truth is, you don't have to solve everything in your mind to live peacefully in your life. Sometimes, it's okay to let go of the question, even without the answer. To trust your next step, even without full clarity. To rest your thoughts, and just be here. So breathe. You've made it this far. And that, in itself, is enough for today. Thanks for watching. If this brought you clarity, share it with someone who needs it too. And until next time, be kind to your mind.